That word, Tom. This is you got to right there, bro. You have a pack of that you
You keep on saying it. You say that every fucking day. Fucking grade, nigga. And why you nigga, where your grades at? Where your grades at? You got straight fucking F's and D's, nigga. I got straight A's. No, you don't, nigga. You make straight D's and F's. What?
My God. We get views like how Jojo Siwa gets views. Oh my God. Wow. That's gonna give me bad karma. Let's get it. Let's get it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are live for another episode of INCS on MMA. Woo. And today we go for UFC 304 Manchester.
Yeah, back in UK, baby. And ladies and gentlemen, this pay-per-view is going to be a very, very interesting one. We have an unstoppable decisionator meeting an immovable decisionator. Oh my God, I cannot contain my excitement.
Jokes aside, yeah. On a serious note, both men have less than 2 finishes in their last 10 fights.
Yeah.
Okay? And really, when we're looking at these two, we've got Leon Edwards, the champion, who has proven that he is very good at every single skill.
Indeed.
When he first started off, we thought that he was a kickboxer, and that was his primary skill set. And that's why he lost that first bout to Kamaru Usman, was the fact that Kamaru had such an advantage on the ground. Then he evened everything out. He became very, very solid with his wrestling and takedown defense, and he just went up and up and up and up the ladder. And then after that KO of Usman, that was it. It was done. It was stratospheric.
Yeah,
his last fight was against Gilbert Burns.
It was.
Yeah, that was where Gilbert Burns' shoulder popped out.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. But he showed he showed his skill on the feet, on the ground. Yeah. So all in all, I think jokes aside, this fight could actually be really good.
Exactly.
And a funny thing is, all the fights on paper that we all thought were going to be incredible have all turned into snooze fests. So my logic is, if on paper it's a snooze fest, we might be looking at an absolute classic.
Exactly. And now, if we're going to look into the skill sets of these men, firstly, going on to Belal Muhammad, all right? Belal Muhammad he came into the UFC with us thinking that he was very much a lay and pray kind of fighter.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to go for the takedown, try and get into a controlling position, but not really do anything with it other than a little bit of ground and pound until he gets the win. Yeah. Similar to kind of Jared Gordon, but he has upped that skill set in a massive way, where the UFC kept on trying to test him with different specialists. They put him up against Damian Maia. He won that. Then they put him up against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He took him down. He dominated there. And then his skill set started to change. His striking kind of developed. And you notice that first kind of bit of that development in his fight against Sean Brady, where he was switching stance all the time, where he was getting those beautiful kicks. And then the Gilbert Burns fight was the final form of that, even though we didn't see a full-strength Gilbert Burns, which is probably what pisses off a lot of fans.
True, but it doesn't take away from Belal's performance. And another thing we need to completely forgot about, this is a rematch.
Oh, yeah.
This is a rematch. Leon Edwards is the guy who fucked up Belal's arm. So there's a bit of bad blood here. Obviously, Belal's got a bone to pick. And also, he's been crying for a title shot for so long. It is fair to finally give him one. And jokes and memes aside, I think it's going to be a good fight, dude. I think it's going to be very technical. It's going to be a very serious fight where one slip up, you could lose everything.
Very true, very true. And the division right now is in such a weird place.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman's kind of dominance staled out the division.
Yes.
And now all of the top contenders who used to be the people you're really excited to see are old, and Father Time is really starting to become a factor. So this division is dying for fresh blood. Let's see if Belal Muhammad is the beginning of said fresh blood. And moving on to our co-main event, we have a heavyweight bout for the interim title. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes.
I love this because I hated the fact how the first fight went. It was so unsatisfying, so unfulfilling. It was just, it left such a bad taste in my mouth. But this makes me so happy. So obviously Tom has been crying about John Jones, which he does have a valid point. You know, you wanna make the belt official. You know, you don't like the fact that you've got the substitute belt, but now they won't let you go for the big one. So I get it, but this fight is perfect because obviously there was the issue with the two of them in their last fight, and Curtis Blaydes just came off that absolutely beautiful win over Jailton Almeida. Showed that man that you need to have proper skill to be in the top fucking 5.
Yeah, he deserved that.
You can't just lay and pray on everybody. So I'm so glad he did this, and he deserves the title shot.
Yeah, so stylistically going into this bout, as we know, the first fight, as you say, Tom Aspinall's knee blew out, so it was like over. But really, what we're looking at in Tom Aspinall is a guy who has great striking, an amazing jiu-jitsu, and is a serious submission threat. Now, submission threats historically have proven to not matter for Curtis Blaydes.
Yep.
The real thing that he worries about is elite strikers.
Yes.
If you look at all 4 of the losses that he has, it's to Francis Ngannou twice, Derek Lewis, both extreme high-level powerful strikers.
Yep.
And usually only those super powerful strikers are the people who really take him off of this game.
Yeah.
If you look at the caliber of people that they have fought, I feel like Curtis Blaydes has been truly tested in the division.
Oh, 100%.
And Tom Aspinall, yes, he has had some very great fights against top opposition. Yeah. Until I kind of see him go up against a Stipe Miocic or a John Jones or an equivalent of a Francis Ngannou, or literally this fight right here against Curtis Blaydes, I'm not gonna really like this whole narrative right now that John is scared of Tom. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Guys,
Aspinall beat Pavlovich. Pavlovich is great, awesome. But Pavlovich just lost a decision to Volkov, all right? Prior to that, he got TKO'd by Alistair Overeem. Sometimes we need to think about how much is hype really affecting the way in which we view guys, okay? So maybe Tom Aspinall, I don't know if he's really at that great level where it's like, you warrant a John Jones fight. I don't see that with the caliber of people that John Jones has fought. I feel like John Jones should still wait for the Stipe fight. But rounding off what I'm saying, I just really think stylistically, this one is looking good for Curtis Blaydes because we've never seen Tom Aspinall on his back and we've never seen him have to react to that.
That is so true. 100%. You actually made such a valid point, eh? Yeah, I fully agree with you there. The whole narrative of John Jones is scared. Guys, John Jones is scared of nobody. Jokes aside, he's scared of nobody.
He's scared of himself.
He's fighting for legacy at this point. That's why he wants the greatest heavyweight to be in the UFC. So, one good point that you were saying is this is a good fight for Curtis Blaydes, and also for Tom. If he wins and he wins like in decent fashion, like God forbid a submission, that now that sells the narrative of the John Jones fight. Oh, Stipe is taking too long. Because let's be real, if Tom sits as interim champ for quite a while, if Stipe is out for like another 1.5 years, 2 years, God forbid, if Tom stays active and gets like another, even one more win, or if two, 3 wins with this belt, how can you now deny him a shot at the actual belt?
100%.
You know, you have to give it to him. So I think he should just stop crying and whining and just put the work in, so that so no one can argue with your resume. If you beat Curtis Blaydes, and then I have no idea who would be next. But if you defend this belt 2-3 times, who's going to argue with you on the John Jones fight? But with no title defenses, an interim belt, coming off that Pavlovich fight, and then before that you were out for an injury, it's hard to call a fight against the GOAT, bro. And then moving on to another fight on this card that, I'm excited for this one. We have, his name changed. It's King Green. Yo, that threw me for a loop. It's King Green, aka Bobby Green, versus Paddy the Scouser, who don't get knocked out, blood. That's what they sound like. Okay, this one, God, I can open a can of worms on this fight. Okay, so we have King Green, who's ranked 15. He's a bit on the, look, he's getting old. He's a bit on the I've been knocked out too many times.
My man's 37.
Hey, in this game, that's old, dog.
No, I'm safe.
Fair enough, sorry. But yeah, look, he's had a ton of wars. And yes, he's coming off that really good fight against Jim fucking Miller. But Jim Miller's also old, and it was like his low-key retirement fight. And then before that, Aiden Turner absolutely beat the brakes off of Bobby Green. Like, it was scary. A lot of people thought, hey man, that's not a knockout you come back from. He just kept hitting an unconscious body. So that definitely has lasting effects. But Paddy, we all know who Paddy Pimblett is at this point, you know?
So, That's the thing. Like, kind of, when we look at this fight right here,
There's too much to go into.
it's very interesting. We're looking at two guys who are essentially opposites.
Yeah.
All right. Bobby Green started off his career as a nobody who grew to massive fame because he was this experienced guy that was slept on, who had this great personality that we kind of fell in love with in the later stages of his career.
Also during COVID, the Apex, he did a lot. He showed up a lot. Yeah.
Now, Paddy Pimblett, on the other hand, he went straight into the UFC and was immediately a big draw, had all of the social media success, and now, through that last kind of interview that he had in the Jared Gordon fight, everything is kind of just like collapsing on Paddy Pimblett. So if we look at this fight right here, okay, we've got Bobby Green, like you say, he recently got knocked into the shadow run by Jalen Turner. Prior to getting his like shit kicked in by Jalen Turner, he got knocked out by Drew Dober really bad.
Oh, yes.
So in his last 5 fights, he's had 2 devastating KOs. And then he's had 2 solid wins where he knocked out Grant Dawson and he just beat up Jim fucking Miller.
Yeah.
Now, Paddy Pimblett is coming off of that really, really, really lame fight against Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
Where if he had finished Tony, maybe we would have spoken about him, but now we're just kind of mad at him for what he did.
Yeah.
And prior to that, he made himself look like a fool against Gordon.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon. Now, Bobby Green has the stand-up advantage, definitely. But Paddy Pimblett does have the submission advantage. But Bobby Green, he doesn't really get submitted a lot. But I really worry about the age thing. I worry about him being 37. I worry about the shots that he's taken to the head.
Like, yeah, look, Bobby Green, he's someone who, like you said, Paddy's got more experience on the ground. But Bobby's comfortable on his back. He's been there a few times. So he's not an expert, but I feel like he's comfortable there. But one big issue with Bobby Green's fighting style is those fucking hands stay down for almost the whole fight. And that's one issue that I think happened with the Drew Dober fight as well, where he's underestimating people's power and he's got his hands down. And against someone old like Jim Miller, that works. And also Jim's a lot shorter than him. Paddy's young. Paddy also has a similar style to Drickus with that whole, you walk forward and punch, you know?
But Paddy punches slow.
All
the guys who knock him out punch so quickly.
That's true. That is true.
Drew Dober's swinging shit. Jalen Turner's one of the fastest, most pinpoint strikers.
That is true. And look, Bobby's hands stay down because he's a striker. He's not doing it because he's dumb. He's doing it because he wants to engage with you. No, that is true. Bobby's head movement is actually really fucking good. So, but that's the thing. Putting your hands down is a risk, and I'm always worried, and I always feel like that risk shouldn't be taken against the younger lads. Okay, but that's just me. But for Paddy, like fame-wise, you cannot lose this fight. If you lose this fight, bro, you're done. You just become a guy that we know in the UFC.
It's gonna become like Alex Hernandez.
Yeah, we're gonna love you. We're gonna watch your fights, but the hype that happened in your first 2 fights, it's gone. You need to win this fight, and you need to be in dominant fashion.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So this is a weird one.
But Paddy's also being smart. He's not jumping into the top 15 straight away, because if Bobby's 15th ranked, and Paddy's had 5 fights in the UFC so far. 4 or 5. Yeah. Whereas we know guys who've had 5 fights in the UFC and they already have fought for a title. You know, so he's being smart about it. He's taking his time. He's being patient.
I think he understands how his longevity and wealth is tied to his winning, young. So he'd rather win slow. Yeah, like Sugar Sean O'Malley did. Because Sean O'Malley, he gained all of this acclaim and all of this fame, but the hardest fights of his career were his last 3. It wasn't like in the beginning where he was like fighting killers the whole time.
He fought nobodies in the beginning, and then they jumped him the Peter Young 15-1.
Exactly. So this one's gonna be a tricky one.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And boom! That was INCS on MMA UFC 304. Like and subscribe. Woo!
Let us know your picks.
Woo!
Stuff that up. Do better next time, please.
Get your shit together. Okay. This is good for editing. That's why I'm shit.
God damn it, Connor. Dude, just be better.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Got the smoothest vocals bringing you undercover. We're talking podcast that'll make you sway. Siphe and Sheldon, in the game they slay.